Hi, I'm Tom Garner. This is Bulldog Hill. It's February the 12th, 2015. We're rebuilding our brood boxes, and I thought I would share as much as possible. We'll provide some diagrams later in the video from which you can get actual dimensions. But this, we're at a point in the construction here that you can see most of the important elements of how we're going about this. We're using the T.E. Scott brood box kits, which include the metal parts necessary for completion, and we're buying the wood locally. Actually, we're reusing the metal portion from an initial build that was done 20 or 25 years ago. At any rate, you can see the framework. Again, we'll provide the dimensions. It ends up being basically an 8-foot box or area that the dog can move to outside of the doghouse. The unique thing that we've added in this construction is we have insulated the box. We put 2 inches of foam in to keep the residents warm and cozy in the worst weather. So the challenge has been to build a framework that will accommodate 2 inches of foam, and you can get a quick look at what's going on here. The framework underneath the house is basically it's a rectangle with one runner in the middle, going lengthwise as it's in the same direction of these runners. So then there's 1/2-inch pressure treated plywood that's used on the floor, and likewise around the inside. I'm going to climb up on top of this so I can give you a better description, better view, and better description. Okay, the initial step in building the doghouse was to add a 2-inch wide strip. When referring to this strip right here, it's 2 inches wide, and it's placed even with the outside 2x4 that runs the full length of the box. The remaining 2x4s in here only run up to this point where they butt into a cross piece, as you can see here. But the outside ones go the full length, and then the box is formed by the outside pieces, the end piece, and this cross piece are topped by a 2 inch wide strip. So it's 2 inches by the normal 1 5/8 thickness for the 2x4. So that goes, the rectangle, the dimensions of the box goes on top of the 2x4 framework to form a rectangle. And then the next step is to apply this plywood sides on the inside of that, where these were actually attached with staples from an air-driven staple gun. So the 4 sides are put into place on the inside of the furring strips at the bottom. The corners are likewise stapled together, and they're also faced with subfloor glue. I think that's a Liquid Nails product, to keep them glued together and tight. Then the next step is to come around the top with the 2 inch wide 1 5/8 thick furring strips, and then each corner has a 1 5/8 by 1 5/8 vertical support. Again, those are stapled in place, and they are matched up with the outside corner, not the inside corner. So there's actually a space between this wood corner pillar and the interior plywood. It doesn't go all the way in. So that's why it's important to be sure and apply a liberal coat of the subfloor glue in the corners to keep them good and solid. You can see that there is a 2x4 border placed, I guess the top of it's around 6 inches above the floor to provide a space where the floor and the sidewall come together so that the mother can't mash puppies in that area. We will be coming back later to face this area with an aluminum angle to prevent the mothers from chewing on this wood. We'll get to that at a later stage. You can see here that we've framed an opening. Was this 11 by 14?
Yes.
11 by 14 opening. There'll be a swinging door made out of 1/8 inch thick aluminum that will be suspended from the top by, there'll be a small piece of aluminum angle crosswise at the top, and then stainless steel lock washers will connect that to the door, one on each side, so that it swings freely, it doesn't jam up, and puppies, there's enough sloppiness in the movement that puppies can't pinch themselves, get their head in, and then pull back on it and find themselves in a jam. It needs to be built like that, otherwise you'll end up with some mashed toes and some hurting puppies. Okay, so what you see here is an area, a rectangle that has been framed out 2 inches thick, and then a wire mesh expanded metal. In this case, I believe this is aluminum. Most of them we use a steel on, but in this one we reverted to the aluminum. The point in this is, in the summertime you got to have ventilation in these boxes, and there will be a styrofoam plug that fits in here in the wintertime. So initially there'll be a 1/2 inch piece of plywood that goes in here that fits the opening, and then a 2 inch thick piece of styrofoam that fits the opening, and then that styrofoam will be bonded to a piece of plywood, which will that can be installed to plug it up to make it nice and tight for the winter, or it can be opened up to make it nice and airy for the summer. Okay, the remaining construction on this box is primarily a matter of putting the outer plywood skin on it, and once that gets done we'll show that to you, and also the construction of the top. Okay, back later.